First off, I want to start by apologizing to anyone who was behind me on the stairs those last few weeks before I was out. Because, man, I was moving slow. So if you're late to class, I'm sorry. Who can blame me, though? I didn't want to fall down the stairs. But anyways, I'm not here to talk about my fear of stairs. I'm here to tell my story. Now, I know that some of you know every detail of my story, and some of you know almost none. So I'm going to start from the beginning. And this might be a long and not super happy story, so bear with me. I'm not really a public speaker. For months, since like last spring, maybe even earlier, I was having back pain, but not the kind that's very alarming. I would get really uncomfortable when I laid certain ways, or if I sat for too long, but I didn't really think anything of it. I thought it happened to everyone, actually. Apparently, I was mistaken. Then I went to a trampoline park the second weekend in October, and my pain became very acute. So I went to the doctors, and they scheduled me for an x-ray, which showed nothing, and then I was supposed to be scheduled for an MRI, but they never called, so we didn't press on that. But I was still having really bad back pain. So I went to a chiropractor, which actually just made everything worse. And then my mom suggested that I go to a masseuse, which I was skeptical about because the last time someone tried to fix my back, it made it worse. My back felt better for a very short time, but then it went back to the awful pain that I had been in before. People told me this pain could be due to a multiple of different things, but for the most part, they thought it was really tight back muscles. Oh, and possibly a potassium deficiency. But these people didn't have very good solutions, and they told me to try stretching my back, to not carry my backpack, and eat a lot of bananas because of the potassium thing. So I was kind of just dealing with it. I would take ibuprofen from the moment I woke up to the moment I went to bed, and I would even wake up in the night in pain and take more. Sometimes it would be so bad that I wouldn't be able to sleep at night, but slowly it started to get better. Probably because I was taking like 12 ibuprofens a day, but still. Then my gait started to get really messed up. I tried to play hockey with my sister's team that my dad coaches. My balance was so bad that one of his coaches who didn't know me thought I had never skated before, which, as you can assume, was incredibly frustrating. This was a sport that I was supposed to excel at, and some stranger thought I had never done it before. My walking got to the point where it was so bad that I was running in a parking lot and my legs couldn't keep up with my body or something, and I fell. I didn't trip or anything, my legs just stopped functioning normally. A week after that, I had an MRI, and I was thinking it was probably just a pinched nerve, because that would explain why I was walking so weird and the bad back pain. This MRI was supposed to last 30 to 45 minutes, but as they were telling me how long each scan was, I was adding them up. And when I had been in there for an hour, something felt off. When I got out, they had a wheelchair waiting for me because I'd almost fallen off the table trying to get on when I first got in there. The nurse took me down the hall with my mom to meet my mom and the radiologist, where he told us that he had found a mass in my spinal column. His words were saying we had bad news, but his tone was more like I had asked for Coke, and he was saying, "Is Pepsi okay?" I was admitted into the ER that night, where I waited 3 hours to be moved to a room in the PICU. I was admitted on Friday and had my first surgery on Monday. The surgeon told us he was only going to take out what he could safely remove, meaning not affecting my mobility. However, when I was in the operating room, he set me up to something that sends signals to everywhere in my body while he was operating, but before he even started the actual surgery, there was no signal to my legs. Since my tumor was so intertwined with my spinal cord, it was hard to tell what was what. He tried to just take a small amount so he wouldn't cause any harm to my spinal cord. When I woke up from my 7-hour surgery, I had limited mobility in my legs, and it was very labored. My nurses were checking on me every 2 hours to see how I was doing, and part of this check was asking me to wiggle my toes. When they came in around 2 a.m. and asked me to wiggle my toes, I was no longer able to, and haven't been able to since. After my first surgery, I was diagnosed with a grade 2 astrocytoma, which, if found anywhere else in the body, would not be considered cancer. but because of the location of my tumor, it was cancer. I learned that any tumor in the brain or spine is considered cancer, so basically, my tumor was not malignant, but because it was in my spine, it was treated as cancer. I spent a week and a half in the PICU on the 3rd floor and was really blessed with all of the great nurses I had. And then I went up to PD on the 5th floor and was slightly less blessed. I stayed there for a week and a half as well, up until my 2nd surgery, which was to remove the rest of my tumor. Leading up to this surgery, I had countless conversations with my surgeon, because when it came down to it, this was my decision, which is a huge decision. But in the end, I went with surgery, which went really well. They said that they can say with certainty that the entire tumor has been removed. And I mean, they better be. I had 7 MRIs in a month. I hope if it was still there, they would have seen it by now. After that surgery, I spent 1 more week in the PICU before I went to Spalding in Boston, which is a rehab center. This week was basically so I could recover a little bit and get some therapies from DHMC before I left. I rode to Spalding in an ambulance with my brother, and my mom and dad followed us in a car. Also, in case you're wondering, ambulances are apparently a great place for a nap because I fell asleep every time I was in one. When I first got to Spalding, I was in PD on the 8th floor where I spent a month and basically only made my arms stronger. Plus, the doctors on that floor were really controlling. They didn't let me have any say at all in the meds I was taking, which felt strange because a few weeks prior, I was trying to decide whether or not I wanted to have surgery, which is a big deal. And now these people were giving me no opinions on the meds I took, which really isn't that big of a decision. That wasn't the only problem with that floor. The therapists just didn't really push me. They set the bar for my accomplishments incredibly low. I asked my OT once to show me how to do a transfer to my shower chair because prior to, they had been using a lift to get me in and out. And her response was, "Are you sure? Because that's really hard. I'm not sure if you're going to be able to do it." Which made me doubt myself a little because this woman was supposed to be a professional. So if she said I can't, then I probably can't. But it also made me want to be like, yes I can, watch me. But I couldn't because I didn't know how, because she didn't teach me. So aside from minimal support from my therapist, my nurses were all up in my space, and I know to a point they're supposed to be. But they were trying to do everything for me, and I was like, how am I going to do this myself if you won't stop doing it? And they had this psychiatrist who I really did not like at all, and whenever he came in, I would get upset. And he thought me getting upset was because me and my mom weren't getting along, and he kept suggesting that she go home for a few days, and I was like, you go home. I didn't actually say that, but I thought it. After spending a month on the PD floor, well, kind of wasting it, which feels really harsh because looking back on it, I can see that I wasn't in the right place. But while I was there, for the most part, it didn't feel too bad. But I moved down to the spinal cord floor, which was much better. My therapist worked me harder and taught me more important things. I spent another month in the spinal cord unit on the 6th floor, and I made some friends and was around different people all the time, which was a nice change. I was able to use a standing frame on that floor almost 3 times a week, and for anyone who doesn't know what a standing frame is, it's exactly what it sounds like, a frame that helps me to stand up. I was able to go on the Locomat as well, which is a big machine that they strap my legs into, and then put me in a harness over what's basically a treadmill, and the machine walks for me. I even did pool therapy, which was amazing. The pool was like 96 degrees. Oh, and I also went to wheelchair skills where they basically just taught me how to do wheelies, which was terrifying at first, but now I can do this. So I just had so many more opportunities on the spinal cord floor. And I finally felt like I was in the right place, even if that place was among middle-aged men who mostly had injuries from falling off their roof or something crazy like that. Sorry, that was disgusting. I made 3 pretty good friends on that floor, and 2 of them were middle-aged men. One of them had fallen off his roof, and one of them had almost exactly the same story as me. Right down to the dates. The third person was another teenage girl, so that's not really a surprising one. We were the only females under 30 on that floor, so of course we wanted to be friends. The first time I ever left the hospital grounds was when I was still on the 8th floor, and we had just gotten cleared that day, so we were so excited. We planned this great little trip to go over to Faneuil Hall, and I don't know if you've ever been there, but don't go in a wheelchair. It's not very friendly. We decided that our way of getting there was going to be on a ferry, which was also a mistake because the ramps to get on and off were the steepest and most unsteady ramps I've ever seen. And second, because boats are tipped a little bit one way or the other, which normally you wouldn't feel, unless you're on wheels. Then you feel like if you lean back, you might flip over. When we got back from that trip, I was feeling only a little nervous, but glad to be back. The same cannot be said for my second trip out. When I got back from that trip, I was actually petrified of any and all declines. And we only went a couple blocks down the road. My cousin had just gotten her new puppy, and she brought it to meet me. And we being her mom, her boyfriend, my mom, and me, decided that we should go to the little store that was a few blocks away so they could get a snack for the ride home. So we made it there just fine, and spent far too long in that store for them to only buy some water and banana chips. And then when we got back, then when we were deciding to leave, we thought we should stop at the Dunkin's on the way back. So my mom was paying, and my aunt was pushing me to the Dunkin's. And let me just start by saying that the sidewalks in Boston are not friendly at all. They're all broken and uneven and not the least bit fun. So anyways, my aunt was pushing me, and she was rushing a little bit and going faster than I was comfortable with. But before I could ask her to slow down, we went down a curb cut that was pretty steep and didn't come to a nice ending at the crosswalk. It kind of looked like this. And when my front tires hit the crosswalk, they stopped because of the angle, but we were going so fast that my upper body kept moving, and I did a face plant in the middle of the street. This wasn't the first time I fell out of my chair. My dad dumped me out one time, but that time I wasn't buckled in, so I just kind of slumped onto the ground, which was grass, not pavement. So if you can picture a chair falling forward, that's exactly what happened, except I was strapped to it. Everything was so hectic. She started yelling at my cousin who was holding her dog. I think her boyfriend helped out, but he was definitely freaked. And some woman who'd been sitting on a bench jumped up to help. Thank God for homeless people. They got me back in my chair, and we did make it to Dunkin', but it was closed. After that, when I left the hospital, I got to a spot where, you know how in the movies when the actor looks around all the exits and they're trapped from all sides? That's how I felt. So naturally, I started to panic because I was trapped and couldn't go back the way I came because it was steep, and all of the curb cuts that were now available to me were also pretty steep. So I was in the middle of the sidewalk having a small panic attack, and then my mom pushed me back in and we were fine. But still, I think I was traumatized. From that day, I wasn't really comfortable with the outside again until my therapist took me out, and we went to the Patriots parade after they won the Super Bowl. I was like, this is their jobs. They've got me. So the day of the parade, the weather decided it felt like being a small blizzard. And my therapist came into her room and asked me if I still wanted to go. Obviously, I said yes. Then we headed to the bus stop where we waited for like 10 minutes before a bus showed up, just to tell everyone that the buses weren't running due to intense traffic. We didn't let that stop us though. They were like, the subway's only a mile from here, we can walk. And I was like, only a mile? Are you crazy? Again, thought that, didn't actually say it. I just said, okay, and just like that, we were walking. When we made it to the subway, we took the elevator down and got on the train and headed to the spot that was supposed to be for wheelchairs only. But when we got there, we were on the wrong side of the street and couldn't cross. So we went back down to the subway and got off one train, but in order to get to the other side of the street, we had to go up to the top and then back down the other side, which wouldn't have been a problem if there had been elevators. So we went up an escalator and then bumped up maybe 5 steps, and then when we got to the other side, there was only stairs. And we were like, we made it this far, stairs aren't going to stop us now. So we bumped down an entire flight of stairs, got on the train, and we were on the other side of the street. Then, when we came out, they had done a terrible job of sectioning people off, so there wasn't actually a spot for wheelchairs only. which was annoying. At first we tried to make our way to the front, but apparently people from Boston are not very nice, and they wouldn't let us through. So we went all the way to the back instead, where we could see at least a little bit. After that whole adventure, how could I possibly still be afraid of the streets? I stayed at Spalding for a few more weeks before I left. I worked on my arms and transfers and did more pool therapy and played Just Dance with my therapy aide, and I beat him every time. Nothing too exciting. And then it was time for me to come home. Leaving Spalding, I had a strange mix of emotions because I was so excited to be coming home, but so sad to be leaving. The people there were really great. On the way home, we stopped at Project Walk, which is a paralysis recovery center, so I could get evaluated. Now I go there once a week, and it's basically the next step in my therapies. I'm also continuing to do physical therapy at Mount Scottney. Even though I'm doing all of this physical activity, I'm not actually able to sweat below my level of injury. My spinal cord helps my body to move and feel, but it also controls my sweat glands. No signal, no sweat. Now that I'm home, I'm slowly getting into sled hockey, which I did practice a few times while I was at Spalding. But it's hard because this is a sport that I love, but I don't want to play it in a sled. I want to play it standing up. It's not the same otherwise. I'm trying to stick with it and remind myself that things take time, and I'll adapt. With all of the great things that are being said about how strong I am, I feel like it's important for everyone to know that I'm not actually quite as indestructible as it may seem. This sucks. I'm not gonna lie. But I am trying to take it day by day and let myself feel the emotions as they come, instead of just pushing them away. I did that for a little while, and when they came out, it was a long day of tears and anger, because this makes me so angry. Why did this have to happen to me, of all people? What did I do to deserve this? It's hard to keep reminding myself that I didn't actually do anything. Bad stuff just happens sometimes. I've been trying to keep a positive attitude and focus on the things that I can do, and not the things that I can't. But just like everyone else, I have bad days. There's a quote on the wall at Project Walk, and it says, "Face it, embrace it, defy it, conquer it." And right now, I'm stuck in the embracing it part. I know that I've said that I can do everything you do, I just do it different. But I don't want to. I know that I can, but I'm not happy about the fact that I have to. No one would be. Also, being paralyzed doesn't mean my legs don't move. It just means that I have no control over the movement in my legs. So you can subconsciously tell your legs to be still, where my legs can just do whatever they want because I can't tell them not to. If you saw any other 17-year-old girl in the hallway, you wouldn't just assume that she needs help, so there's no need to treat me any differently. I'm just like everyone else, except I'm on wheels. So don't just assume I need you to help me. And it's okay to ask me if I need help, but if I say I don't, then I don't.
Just ignore that.
But I do need you to listen to me. And I know that people are going to stare, probably mostly kids, and that's perfectly okay. If you tell them not to stare or discourage them from asking questions, then because you think it might upset me, then you're teaching them that looking and being different is something to be ashamed of. It's not. So I wanted to end this by leaving you with a quote. There is no greater disability in society than the inability to see a person as more. Thank you so much to everyone who is still listening and to everyone who has given me so much support through all of this, because it's been hard, but you are always there to catch me, some of you literally.
Thank you, Julie. Welcome back. We'll see you on Monday. You have tomorrow off.
Yes, I know.
Have a good day today. Thank you.
All the indignant.
Period 3. Period 3.
a sweatshirt is just like that one.
I mean, grit, I'm going to speak my mind.
Can I hold them both?
Yeah.
Okay.
And Godzilla.
And Godzilla.
Yep.